Welcome to How to Be a Humane Leader Without Losing Your Job. We're here to chat about humane leadership in a way that's real and relatable, tackling work-life challenges and offering practical advice to navigate tough decisions. Whether you're leading a team or navigating your own career, we've got you covered. I'm Chris Olerking, a Fortune 100 IT leader, and with me is Roberto Torres, a startup engineering leader. We'll dive into the real world stuff, share experiences, and offer guidance on leading with compassion while keeping your career on track. Today, we'll discuss how a humane leader coaches to reach a difficult goal, even when they may get discouraged sometimes. Hey, Roberto, how is it going?
Morning, Chris. Everything's fine. How are you?
I'm doing all right. And when things are going great, it's pretty easy to be a humane leader. But when some things sometimes aren't going your way or the goal just seems so far in the distance, even a humane leader sometimes gets a little discouraged, don't you think?
Yeah, and actually, you have to add that you might have pressure from your managers and maybe the stakeholders. So that adds a layer of pressure that you might not want to, but you're receiving. So yeah, difficult one.
Yes. And I think, the part of a humane leader versus a boss on a challenging goal or a goal that seems far out into the future is that I have seen bosses that were in complete denial of the actual challenges. Like, hey, we may not be able to solve this, or this might be too expensive to solve, or the funding may be cut because we just ran out of time because we couldn't get it done fast enough. And I've seen leaders deny that. And I think that that's not a good thing for a humane leader because our employees, our team, they're not ignorant, they're not foolish. And I think when you don't honestly address the challenges, you don't honestly talk to your team and say, look, I'm actually not positive we can do this, but I think we got a good chance, and I think we've got some great people here on the team that are going to have ideas that I don't have, and we could make this work. And sometimes it's the team members that help the humane leader get back on track and get past the barrier, the next barrier. So, in a team, the humane leader is not always the one breaking the barrier and moving forward. Sometimes it's the team members.
Yeah, actually. And one thing is, while you were talking about this, I remember this, not kind of an analogy, but a boss is like the one who is in a carriage riding a horse, and it will use the whip every single time. It doesn't matter if the horse is going faster, slower, it has an obstacle, it will keep using the whip. And when you mention honestly, a word used by a human leader, it's something that we tend to do. We tend to understand what our limits, ourselves, the team, our team members, but we have to convey the message that, hey, we might not be looking at the thing that is going on. Then maybe we are in a dark tunnel and the light is far, far away. Are we going to reach it or not? So we tend maybe to question ourselves and say, can we make it or we cannot? Because our team members are going to look at ourselves. Hey, you are our leader. What shall we do? And the moment we tend to be honest, it might at first might be discouraging, but it will be a sign of relief by our team members. Oh, Chris is telling me the truth. He thinks that we might not be making it, but maybe one or maybe more team members will say, "Hey, we can do it." It's like this passion that our team has that might say, hey, we can do it. And someone might raise their hands or might stood up and say, yes, we can do it because rather than going this way, we should go with the other way. So I think it's it's a trait that a human leader professes to the team, and the team might rise.
And part of, being a humane leader is helping all of the team develop leadership skills, even though they may have no interest in having the formal role of leading a team. And I recently saw a video about a submarine captain. Actually, he wrote a leadership book, and it was where he decided that he was no longer going to lead like a captain. He didn't have a good name for how he was going to lead, but what he started to change was, well, what do you intend to do? He asked, what did you intend to do? Not ordering you, drive the ship north, drive the ship south, take the ship down to 500 feet, take the ship to the surface. He didn't make those kinds of orders. Instead, he set out goals for the team and said, how do you intend to get there? And they would present how they intended to do certain maneuvers or whatever, and they were empowered. In reaching these long goals, maybe a project that's 2-3 years long, something that just seems so distant, sometimes you have to realize you're just not going to be able to make every single decision, and you're not going to be upbeat about it the entire time. So you are going to get discouraged because things are going to go wrong. That's what happens in projects. So as you're developing your team down this journey, enabling them to make more of the decisions, and yes, you may still need to review them, but rather than you being the captain who's ordering what should happen, you're enabling the team to see that their incremental steps are getting them closer and closer to the light at the end of the tunnel. Because if you take no steps, you're never going to get there, right? That's the ultimate discouragement, right? Where you just, hey, we're never going to get there, so I'm not even going to try. And that's certainly not what a humane leader would do. But acknowledging that you could get discouraged and help, hopefully enabling your team to be the cheerleaders occasionally that boost the rest of the team. It can't always be the humane leader that's charging and encouraging all the time. So you're developing leadership skills, even if they don't want to be the manager in the future. Having leadership skills for individual contributors is important. And that's what this guy's leadership book was about, is he realized, yes, he's the captain of the ship and he's responsible for it. Us as humane leaders, we're responsible for our project. But every single team member has something to contribute, something that is a type of leadership quality. And in a situation where the goal is very far out in the future, and it can be very discouraging on long-term projects. Why? Because it takes a long time. Nobody can stay positive, through a 4-year project. You're going to have periods where you're down. But by relying on some of the other team members to also be leaders and encourage you and say, hey, humane leader, don't worry, I got an idea that I think might work. What do you think about this? Wow, that's brilliant, Roberto. I never thought of that. Thank you. Let's do that. And think about how good Roberto feels then when he's been able to lift the team forward over a barrier and move forward. You've really made a long-term team member out of Roberto, because he's going to feel empowered. He's going to feel he lifted something, a burden from the team. It's a win-win. And I just think that being humane about it, acknowledging that, yeah, I'm just so discouraged. We've been working on this problem for a week and it's still not solved. Sometimes that's going to happen, but be honest about it with your team. But encourage them to be creative and say, look, we got to come up with something. Who else has got another idea? If it's not Roberto, maybe it's Susan. What do you think, Susan? Maybe Susan's been quiet. Why? Maybe she was discouraged before, but today she's going to be the one who's going to be upbeat because she has a creative idea she'd like to try and sell the team on to try.
Yeah, indeed. The thing is, a boss might not give, oh, excuse me, won't give free of speech to the team. And we human leaders tend to do that. You mentioned empowerment. Empowerment is something that will allow them to grow in these difficult and harsh situations. And they know that they can raise the voice. And they say, there is this problem, let's bring this situation, try to solve this situation. But if they might not be raising their voice and say maybe a solution, maybe what we could do is, besides empowerment, is create a brainstorming session, the one that might foster that solutions with the team. Now, the thing about a brainstorming session is not, hey, let's gather and let's do this and have ideas. No, try to do a bonding exercise, a team bonding exercise previously that will get the team tighter and closer, and that they will take away the blinder in order for them to provide many different ideas and solutions. Because in a brainstorming session, all ideas are good. There are no bad ideas, because at the moment you said that is a bad idea, you will crumble and you will crush that confidence that they have within themselves. But if you foster this, if you tend to use wisely all those brains, and they might be getting to some of the, or there might be some of them might be adding some a little pieces of the idea, and it's up to us or the team to figure out like a puzzle. We got this piece, this one, this one, this one, and we create something. And
Yeah.
that
Yep.
the thing that we create, it is an idea that might work. But the beauty that we understand in technology is iterations. So an idea will be the first iteration, and maybe if we add something, it will be the second, the third, until we reach that. What by doing that, we are motivating ourselves and the team, and together as one, we could reach the goal.
Yes, absolutely. And those iterations sometimes are by people throwing out those ideas in the brainstorm that trigger somebody else to think of something that they wouldn't have thought of otherwise, you know, unless
Mhm.
Steve said this, then Susan wouldn't have thought of that because they didn't mention it before. And that's truly where the creativity of that brainstorm can work, and encouraging the team to even think about some of their past successes, right? When you are discouraged in reaching that goal and you're going through the brainstorming process, sometimes reflecting back on a challenge that you've already surmounted can encourage the team, saying, look, remember 4 months ago when we were trying to figure out how to do this or that, and we thought again it wasn't going to be solvable. And sure, it took longer than we had hoped. Acknowledge the challenge. It didn't go as smoothly as we'd like, but we got through it, we're past it, and now look at how much farther down the tunnel towards the light we are. So even when we, the humane leader, is getting discouraged, take the moment, reflect, think about past successes, remind the team to help keep them motivated, and it may even just remotivate the humane leader, because you've now reflected back and said, yeah, I was getting discouraged, but wow, we have accomplished an awful lot. We're 2 years into the 4-year project. Think about some of the things that we solved already that we thought would never be solvable, and we solved them. So, I think that humane aspect of working in that way can get the team to be more successful in the long run on more projects, not only this one that's so discouraging, but more projects, because they will also take that behavior of yours of reflecting back about challenges that you have surmounted. So, again, I think our reoccurring theme for us is always, look, we're humane leaders, and humane leaders share how they feel about things. We don't do it to the degree to depress the whole team, we do it to the degree to show our team that we are human also, and we are not always 100% confident, and we need the team together to be strong to move forward.
Indeed, indeed. And let me tell you, let's think that we go to the future in which we solve that problem, in which we reach to that far-fetched goal that we might think that we're not arriving. Okay, after you do that, it's important for you as a human leader to gather the team and do a retrospective of everything that went into that project, the good and the bad stuff, the moments of discouragement and the moments of excitement, everything. So it will be important to add everything in a document for further review for upcoming project. That might be similar or might be different, but there it is. All that knowledge, what they did, what they didn't, and people um, have to understand that the knowledge is present. So there might be new members upcoming, and there might be others who might leave, but the knowledge is there. And when we have all this knowledge and we use it, it might help for upcoming projects. So it's always good to have these retrospective sessions to get all this knowledge into a document. And there is a beauty right now. We have AI tools such as Zoom has it, for instance. So put it on, gather summaries, actions, etc., type down into a document, and it will work for the future.
Yes, and it's really, when you think about it, even the projects we're working on today that have critical deadlines, it's all about the future. No matter where you are in your career, you can learn things and apply it into the future so that hopefully these kinds of challenges that you're facing will be easier in the future. That's the whole intent. We continue to learn. And if you're listening to this podcast right now, clearly you believe in that because you are here to try and learn new things. So that's good.
Yeah, indeed. Okay, great. Um, well, I think that with this, we can end this episode. Chris, I think it was a good one. Um,
Absolutely.
cool.
Absolutely.
And I'll see